welcome to another episode of East County Voices. We're your hosts. We got Nicole with us, me. We got Brianna on here. So what's going on, Nicole?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. We are here with Brianna, who is another mom from Care, whose baby was also harmed. But this is at a different facility. This is the Mahogany facility in Antioch. So, as we stated before, the problems previously started in Antioch. There's 3 different facilities. So as the story is getting out there, more moms are coming forward with their stories. So we're going to make sure we do our best to give them a platform to get it out there. And especially Brianna's, because it has been reported to APD and there is a case report. So I don't know why nothing's happening. So we need to get this going. They need to be held accountable.
Okay.
So, if you want, Brianna, you can go into your story and tell what happened to your baby.
So I was told by my director, close to the end of January, that she had previously seen a video and that she needed for me to see it because she needed me to prove that it was my son. And that somebody basically showed her the video the day before, that she told me on a Friday, January 24th of 2025. And she had previously, what she was previously told the day before about this video, and she told me in the morning about it. And I guess I obviously hadn't seen it, and she told me, and basically I obviously lost it because I I trusted the person, and I work there, and I literally was just like, okay, how can I obviously was working the same time this happened, and I wasn't the type of mom to go and check that much like on my kids, because I'm obviously a teacher and I'm doing my job, and so I would just check periodically. But obviously, a no mindset of mine, I would obviously think nothing like that would happen because it's a coworker of mine, or and I would never in my mindset would think somebody would do that to my child. And so, like I had previously said, I had to basically tell my director, yeah, that's him. And then she basically was like, well, how can you tell it's him? And I said, my somebody like like my brother gave him that set of clothes. I know that cry. Like all this stuff. And she's like, oh, okay. And then I look back at previous pictures that had the same outfit, because I know the outfit. And I was like, and I showed her and I said, here, like, look. I said, this is the same outfit. And I said, I know that's my child. And she was like, okay, we're, the police obviously is coming. Somebody else had obviously contacted the police. So I waited for them to come that same day, maybe like a couple hours after. And then I had to give my statement, and they got my statement. I told them like I wanted to press charges on both of the people involved. So I did that. And she basically told me that same day that the girl that did that to my child, her name is Nala Duran, basically she was on what do they call that?
Administrative leave.
Yeah. So that same day before she got to work that morning, that's what she told me. Was that, oh, she's on administrative leave as of today. I was just like, okay, but in my mind, like, what does that help me? Like, what does that help me for? What? Just because she's on administrative leave, like, she still did that. I can't like, and I can't question her nothing, right? Because she left.
Hmm.
So what does that help me? What are you doing for me, for my child, for his safety? It's like obviously you let that happen in your center.
Hmm.
And that's what kind of hurts me the most, because you figure if it's a coworker, it's people you work with, it's you would feel that your child is safe. And that's how
Right.
I felt, that he was safe and there was really no problem. And obviously something did happen. So it it
Yeah.
just it just gets to me. So I don't know. That's basically what happened.
I'm so sorry, first of all, that that happened. And secondly, I don't understand how she think you wouldn't know what your child looks like. It's your baby that you carried in your body, that you take care
Yeah.
of every day. He was 9 months at the time, correct? So you've been looking at
Yeah.
him outside of your body for nine
Yeah.
months. So why would she think you wouldn't know what the
Hmm.
back of his head looks like, outfit or not? So that was kind of a ridiculous question.
Yeah.
So apparently she's part of the problem. Um, it is very
Right.
even more so hurtful that it is your coworker that did that to your baby, knowing it's your baby. So the question I have
Yeah.
is, has she been fired? Is she still working there?
No, the next week after that, they said, "Oh, my director called me, and she basically was like, "Oh, Diane wanted to let me know that Nala and Jocelyn Garcia, the other girl that failed to mandate report as well, because she had the video from Nala
Hmm.
and she failed to report, that she so basically she told me like, oh, Diane wanted me to let you know that they're both fired. I'm like, okay. But it's like, great, you fired them on Wednesday. You should have done that, like I said, that same day that
Hmm.
you had that, like you found out all this happened. And then like I know that Diane reached out to me a little bit after that, maybe like a couple of weeks after that, and she was like, oh, we're having meetings with like the early Head Start program, and they're going to do their own investigation as well because he's part of that program, my son,
Hmm.
and they're going to look into it as well. But I'm like, okay, but again, what are you doing? Like,
Right.
you are basically just saying you're going to investigate and do that, but what are you doing for me? Like, mental, like I said, mentally, it's a lot. It's a lot
Yes.
just to keep going. And of course, I have to work. I know I have a family to support. That's how I look at it now. Like, I have to work. So yeah, I still go to work. I show up every day, but I still have to, in the back of my mind, I still have to go and make sure he's okay, because I still have that in the back of my mind. Like, what if, or I
Right.
never know.
Right.
That
Right.
I didn't think I would need to have that in the back of my mindset, even when I go to work, like with my coworkers. Oh, now I have
Right.
to have that in the back of my mind. Like, what if that was to happen again? Or I don't know. No one knows, and that's just a lot for me mentally. But obviously, I just have to do what I have to do as a parent and go to work and make it through. But it's been rough.
Yeah. I can
With
only imagine. I know Carlos wants to say something.
and no, she just led right into my next question, which is, are you receiving any emotional support or counseling for
Right.
yourself?
Right.
Not for myself. No, I'm trying to see if I can get my son Kobe into therapy of some sort. Because I don't. I in my mind, I feel like he has either not. I'm not saying something wrong, but if anything happens to children, I feel like they need to be seen by somebody just in case of him having trauma of any sort. And I feel that he's been getting a little worse in his behavioral of after that whole situation happened. And I'm trying to
Hmm.
see who I can reach out to so that he's able to get some help for that, because I've noticed him doing like hitting or more or like biting and things like that that he really
Yeah.
wasn't doing when he was that age, and it just got a little bit it's gotten a little bit worse now that I've noticed.
Okay. And that could be because something may be going on again that you haven't found out just yet, also, since,
Yeah.
yeah, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it would be a good idea for you also because you need that emotional support.
Yeah.
Um, it
Yeah.
and it's really unfortunate that all they say is, I mean, thank God, at least in this instance, they did fire the people because they should have, but they still need to take into
Right.
consideration what that does to you, and they should do
Yes.
something more for you,
Yeah.
especially as an employee of that facility.
Right. Right. Yeah. And like I said, so far it's they are still like giving me like a waiting game. I haven't Diane hasn't reached out to me again, and they haven't really reached out at all. So I'm just,
Well,
you know,
Yeah, we're gonna move that along. And what, has APD reached out to you again, Antioch, at all?
not so, I reached out to them after they finished the police report,
Hmm.
and basically what the the person I talked to basically told me that I would have to wait for it to go to court. They're collecting all the evidence, and then for both of the people that we're pressing charges against, we just have to wait and see.
mm,
And for it to go to trial, and then once it goes to trial, if they're found guilty, then they can get arrested. But I'm like, okay, how long does that take?
right.
Because it's already, and it happened. Well, obviously the abuse happened in July of last year, but it didn't get reported until January. So it's a waiting game, but it's like, how much longer is it going to be?
It still shouldn't take that long. It's May already, and before you know it, it'll be
Yep.
June. So it shouldn't take six
Yep.
months. Do you have the officer's name? Because you can say it. Because we
His
need to
name.
look into
I
that.
had talked. So the officer that did my case, his name was Officer Smith. But then when I talked to his upper head of Antioch PD, Mullahan was the officer that I spoke to on the phone that said I could just go to the police station and get a copy of his police report. And that he was the one that basically said I have to wait for it to go to trial, and then see if they find, obviously with all the evidence, if they find the girls obviously guilty, then they would, press the charges. But that's all he basically told me.
And they've seen the video, correct? Because I don't understand what they're not.
Yes, they have the video. They have the video and stuff from the web, the camera on their, obviously that they were, and then the director also sent it over um for the police report.
Okay.
Wow.
And then I guess the thing that's kind of crazy to me is, why does she record herself doing that? Well, like what? Yes,
That's just crazy to me because it's like
right?
I would, yeah,
Right.
that's,
So you
I don't know.
recorded. So for the
I don't.
audience, there is a video,
So basically,
like you can see what happened, what she did to the baby. Like you can clearly see it. And why you would record yourself doing that is just, I don't know, it's beyond me. So that just means she's sadistic to me, because
yeah,
who does that? First of all, why are you harming a baby? And then why are you recording
right,
yourself harming
Right.
a baby?
right.
Right?
And then I heard, like I said, she sent it to Jocelyn Garcia, and then she showed it to somebody, and she was the one that reported it to, I guess, my director. But
Mm-hmm.
it's just crazy to me because you're gonna go and do that, and I'm thinking my child is safe, and
Right.
there's really nothing wrong, and then obviously that's happening.
Right.
And
Right. Oh goodness, that is, yeah. And I guess I don't understand what the holdup is with the police officers, being that they have the video. They know that this person recorded
Yeah,
herself
the
doing this. So
evidence.
she absolutely intended to do it. It's not like
Right.
it was, he said, she said, or, oh,
Yeah.
somebody's saying she recorded
And
herself and then
it's
sent it to people.
hmm and it's weird to me also because um other people and other people have seen it that
Mm,
don't work there.
wow.
And it's randomly, it was like random people, not random people, but it's just
Yeah, just being
out
sent
there.
around. Yeah,
And I have to being sent around, like if it's, I don't know, I'm just
right,
like, wow, like you really have the decency to do that, to somebody, like
right,
just to send it out, and it's somebody's child.
right. A baby at that, an infant, not even
Hmm.
a
Yeah,
toddler,
a
but an
baby at
infant.
that.
Yeah. So
Wow.
that makes me
Right.
feel like there's some sadistic people that get pleasure of harming babies, because I don't understand anybody in their right mind who, first of all, would think to do that, and then to secondly record themselves, and then to thirdly
Yeah.
send it out to people
Yeah.
and think that that's okay. And people are just
Hmm.
viewing it and not saying anything, because, yeah, automatically the first thing I'm going to do is definitely report it, because absolutely not. Completely
Yeah.
unacceptable. And they need to be held accountable one way or the other. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm glad that at least they did fire them, and I don't know why the other person didn't, why she held on to it, or just whatever the case may be, because obviously she's the
Yeah.
indecent person. She just, I guess, was conflicted, because it's like, what do I do? It's my coworkers and it's my coworker's baby, and I kind of don't want to be in the middle. I
Yeah.
kind of feel like that's how she felt, but still, regardless, as your job that you have to report, and now you're going to be in trouble because of this other person, and all
Yep.
you have to do is
Yeah.
speak up right away.
Yeah.
And that sucks. It
And
really,
she just basically said, like, oh, I just have too much stuff going on. Well, doesn't everybody?
wow.
Like, everybody
Okay.
has a lot of stuff going on, but we're mandated reporters. That's our
Right.
job. We
Right.
we do the stuff for it. And you're going to tell me you just have too much going on? Everybody does.
Right.
I have
Well,
three
never
kids. I
mind.
have a lot going on.
I gave her the benefit of the doubt, but never mind. That's just sad. I'm sorry that
Yeah.
yeah, that's not. I
No,
don't
yeah.
understand.
That's what I said. I'm like, I don't give you the benefit of the doubt because I'm like,
No,
like I said, you just basically said you had a lot of things going on, but everybody has a lot of things going on, and we're mandated reporters, and we have to mandate report.
right. Right. Wow.
That's
All
crazy.
right. Do you have any questions? Well, of course he drops off. What's
No, no, I'll
gonna
be right back.
Okay.
I have to.
Okay. Okay. He's so funny. Oh goodness. Well, we want them, you know, there has to be. We need the DA to pick it up if that's what they're waiting on. They need to go on and do
Yes.
that. We need to get some pressure on APD, because they need to move it along. It needs to move on to where it needs to move on, so that it can go on to the DA, because we're not just going to sit back and just accept that, because it's not acceptable. Kinder care needs to do
And
their job.
when I talked to the police department, they basically were like, "Well, it's other cases right ahead of that," and I'm like, "Okay, other cases, but other cases that are more important than child abuse is more important. Other cases are more important than that.
Right.
Doesn't that to me just doesn't make sense
Right. They're all important.
when I feel like
And
that's one of the
yeah, yeah, that's the wrong thing to say to a parent, that there's other cases that,
Mhm.
basically are more important. Like, all the cases are important. We understand. We don't want to take anything away
Yeah.
from anything that's happening to anyone, but we also want you to move the cases forward. Since you have so many cases that are so important, then they should be being worked on actively. not just
Yeah.
sitting around, because it sounds like it's just sitting around because it doesn't take months. Everyone
Yeah.
knows that you don't just let months go by to collect evidence. So it doesn't take months. It should be getting done.
Yeah.
So
Shoot,
yeah.
I know you talked about that like you were like tripping out when you first heard about this, but like what when you first found out, like what was going through your mind, like as a parent,
Right.
I
what was your
as a
Right.
first
parent,
reaction?
I I'm very like I'm a very emotional person, and so for my director to tell me, I was in tears
Yeah.
because you would figure, like I said, they're like, did you have problems with her? Did I would never have thought she would have done that to my child because I trusted her with my child. Maybe that was
Right.
my mistake of
Mm.
thinking I can trust coworkers, people that I really didn't have issues with to take care of my child on a daily,
Right.
Right.
and then that happens. So honestly, like I say, I'm a very emotional person. So yeah, I was crying, and then it was just hard to even like see his video, and
Yeah.
like I said, and then having to point out that obviously it's him, and like how I know it's him. I just to point that out, it's like no parent ever wants to see their child
No.
be getting abused in any type of way, whether it's
No.
pulling hair, spanking on the butt, which was what the video had.
Yeah.
And it was just hard for me to see that.
Yeah. And it's crazy that
Right.
she would even ask you, did you have a problem with her? No, I don't. But regardless, what has that got to do with anything? And whether we had a problem or not, what has that got to do with her abusing my baby?
Right.
Right. But that's what she
So,
asked.
And to your knowledge, were there any other children affected too?
Um, from that center, no.
Okay.
Well, no, actually, I did have two other coworkers speak up on the same police report that I'm on
mm-hmm,
about their children at the center, but they pulled their children out.
mm,
They didn't have like physical like mine, like
mm-hmm,
a video. So they said they were just like, I really can't, prove this and that, but they did have, they did give
something.
their statements to the police report, so it is on the police report. Um, Other than that, I didn't hear about any other children um, that I know on like the same age, or same time frame that he was in there. So I didn't see or hear
Okay.
about anybody else.
Right. What do you think should change in how daycares are run or regulated?
Mm,
I feel that even me, I say this even if I'm a teacher. It's like I feel like when we do trainings and things like that, I feel like I get it, we have to watch videos and things like that, but sometimes I feel like we need hands-on type of training and not just videos. I don't know if that makes sense. Because
yes.
sometimes
Right.
for us, it's just like, oh, a paper here, a paper there, sign here, sign there. But what are you really showing me? I
Right.
know what it is, obviously, because I've been doing this a while. But you want me to sign this paper for whatever, and then let's say I didn't watch it, you want me to sign it.
Mm,
Well, what kind of training is that? If it's supposed to be a mandated reporting training that's supposed to take a couple hours, or um, chill like the personal rights training, things like that.
Yeah.
I feel like we need more training, like monthly for that, and I feel like they do things like that for just kinder care in general. Maybe other kinder cares are run differently, but like for example mine, it's just, oh, sign here, oh, say, like, let's say if you want to watch this video, you'd have to ask the director to see. Well, why aren't you showing me now? I'm just confused. Why am I signing it if I'm not seeing it? You just want me to sign it. that's not
right.
that's not training, like we need more
Mhm.
people to actually be doing it, training, things like that, I feel like. And
Right.
for
Right.
us to get the proper training, not just, oh, let me sign this paper and let me get that, out for whatever licensing purpose or whatever they need it for. It's
Hmm.
that to me isn't right.
That's really important that you said that, because there's protocol, there's procedures, there's all these things that's in place for a
Right.
reason. And that just goes to show,
Mm-hmm.
either they're, and if they're doing that, they're definitely not vetting and doing background checks properly and doing all the things they should do to screen people before they even come to work there. If they're not following the proper
Yeah.
protocols and procedures and trainings that you're supposed to stay up on, they're just, hey, let's sign it so we look like we're in compliance. So they're really not ever in compliance, because you coming saying sign this paper doesn't put you guys in compliance. It just looks like it on paper. And that's why these things
Right.
are happening, because
Right.
they're not running things the way it's supposed to be. It's not being done properly.
Wow. So, what would justice or accountability look like for you?
If I can get them in, I want them in jail.
Mm,
That's what I want. Because everything going on, and like you say, they're still somewhere, they're still in the streets. And then
right,
I said, why can't you guys do, I told him, I said, you can't go and pick her up. I said, she lives here. They gave you the address.
right.
Oh, well, we can't get a hold of her, is basically what he told me. I said, and how long
So
has it
go
been?
to
Two
her
weeks?
house.
Like, how long is it going to take for you to go?
Right,
That's
He kept
crazy.
telling me every week I called for this police report. Oh, I haven't been able to get a hold of her. I'm gonna try again. Okay, well, how long is that gonna take? Because trying to get a move on this,
right,
police report, and you're obviously holding it up because you want to wait to get a hold of her. You have her address and whatever
right,
phone number. Maybe she changed it. Fine, but find other ways to get a hold of her. Then go to the house that you have on. I don't know what the address. That but I don't even know if they ever did that.
And this is Mullahan that's saying this to you, or the other one that said this to you?
The whoever I spoke to at the what is it, the recording, when I had asked to speak to somebody, that's I think I was speaking to Officer Smith. That's his name, yeah,
Okay,
Smith.
Mm,
But
okay.
they just couldn't give me, like I said, they couldn't give me any more information.
interesting. And yeah, because they can go to people's houses all the time. They do that stuff all the time. So I don't understand why they're
How they
just
can't do that.
right. I don't know. I think it's just really escaping me that all these people are not concerned about abused babies.
Right.
It's really it is really bothering me a lot that people are not caring enough that babies are being harmed. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I can't understand that at all. Not even a little bit. Because anybody knows,
Right.
if it was their child, they would be ready to hurt somebody. So I'm not understanding why they thinking it's okay just because it's not happening to them.
So, with that, what advice would you give to other parents looking for safe childcare?
Well, I'm
Hmm.
like, they obviously, my job, they got cited, so that had to be up because they got cited 2 type A's.
Hmm.
Now that I guess only had to be posted. I don't know. I think they said 30 days, but it's posted on the CCD website, right, for them
Right.
to see. Who, if
Mm.
they ever want to look up like licensing, um, I would tell. I mean, that's the problem, because it's like you would figure. We still have a lot of parents coming in, obviously, to see if we're full, and other parents that are like, oh no, we trust, we trust the teachers and things like that. And of course, the kids are older, but I'm like, how do I know that? I don't know that. I don't know, and
I'm
I
I'm
have my
like,
kids still
whoa.
there. Yes, I
Wow.
mean, I still have my kids there because I have to work, and I don't have anybody else to help me. So my kids go with me every day. Um, and I do feel safe with the teachers, obviously, that they have right now. But it's like I still, like I said, I still have that iffiness of, let me see what they're doing. Let me go peek in the window. Let me, yeah, because it's still iffy to me.
Wow.
Mm, yeah.
And have you
Mm.
spoken to other parents from the same place? And what was that experience like?
Um, I have spoken to my other coworkers that obviously left with their children. But that's only who else I spoke to, that they said that their children got abused there.
Mm.
Wow.
But they have any like physical evidence like mine, like a video. But I haven't spoken to them in a minute since then.
Right. And what role has your extended family or community played in helping you cope? I know you mentioned that a little earlier, but
Um, well, I mean, um, it's hard for me to cope, and um, I'm still processing the whole thing still, like
right,
mentally. I I just have to go to work because I need money. Um, but it's draining going for my sake, because I still worry about his safety, and like I said, I still worry.
Yeah.
But I have to make money. I have to make do and do what I have to do. But it's like I said, what is Kindercare doing for me? I don't
Mm.
know. Not much.
Nothing. Yeah, nothing. Because yeah, they should be. I don't know. There's a lot of things they should be doing. They should be offering you counseling. They should be offering you compensation. There's. They should have apologized. Like
right,
there's all these things that should have happened. They should have had. They know this happened. They should have had people come in and, like you said, do trainings. There should have been all these things that should have happened that are not happening at all.
Mm-hmm. No.
wow.
Right.
So, what message would you want to share with policymakers or daycare regulators?
It's just like some of the pot, like just anything in general, something has to change.
Mm.
The way that they hire people, it's like I feel like, and maybe not just this my location. I don't know is at other locations, but it's like they should probably take the time to interview somebody instead of just jumping the gun and maybe hiring them like right there and then, or I feel like you need to take the time to see how that person is at work. I don't know, like kind of like a working interview somewhat type.
Yes, that's what I was
Uh
gonna say.
I
Mm.
mean, because anybody can be however they want to be when they first show up and meet the director.
Right.
But a working interview, I think, would be better hands on. But it's like, are people actually going to be like supervising in the classrooms like they should be? Who knows? Because
Right.
I'm honestly, in ours, we don't have a lot of supervising with management, to be honest. And I feel like that's what needs to change too. Management in general uh, needs to step up and do observations in the classroom that needs to be done if things like that are happening, with
Mm-hmm.
the children. Would they need to be properly trained? The teachers, the new hires need to be properly trained. I don't feel like they have been.
Yeah,
Wow.
I agree. I definitely agree. And working interviews are good. A good week of seeing, because then you're gonna see what they're really like, and you're
Yeah.
going. They're not gonna be able to just hide, who they are for long, because if they get frustrated or just all these different things are gonna come out, and then like you said, there should be There should be supervision. There should also be cameras.
Yeah.
That's what I was just gonna say.
There should be
I was gonna ask
cameras.
if there's
Yeah. Which
cameras
they
there.
don't have any.
Right, and there's not,
Yeah.
of course
Seems
No,
like
not.
I
none of
think
these
no.
daycares out here have cameras.
Yeah. And obviously the hiring
No.
practices are trash everywhere because Rachelle Jeffries told us that the kinder care here in Pittsburgh, the director posted on her Facebook that she was hiring. That is an absolute not okay. You don't post on
Right.
your Facebook page
Oh,
that you're
wow.
hiring.
Wow.
Right. She says she's
Yeah.
taking it down since, of course, but that's never the route. Now, if you have a kinder care
No.
site and you're putting it on the site, then okay. You know, if you're using
Right.
Survey
That's
Monkey or
different.
something like that, then yes, but not on your personal
Yeah.
Facebook page. Absolutely not.
No. No, absolutely not.
So
But you said she's taken it down since then, huh?
yeah, she says she has taken it down. She said that's why she was saying she wished she had screenshot it before she took it down so she could show proof
Oh.
that it was there.
So, yeah, we had mentioned in the previous show that we feel there should be cameras and audio
Yep.
24 hours, you know,
Yep.
in those daycares.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that would help give parents a total peace of mind.
Right.
You know, that at any time on their lunch break
Yeah.
or on their break, you know, they can just check real quick,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and they're able to
Check real quick.
rewind.
Yep.
You could rewind on those and
Yeah.
you know, so I mean, I think that should be mandatory.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
Yeah.
pop-up visits are good. Just show up, you know, since you're there, just pop in. I know you're working also, so it's a little
Right.
hard for you to just leave your class. But for parents who don't work at the
Yeah.
facility, you need to just show up randomly
Yeah.
because then you're going to find out
Yep.
what's going on. If you let them know they have time to prepare and pretend, but if you just show up randomly and they don't know you're coming, you know,
Right.
surprised, you might run
Yeah.
into something that you need to see.
Is there a code at that daycare for you to go into in the front door? Or you
Mm-hmm.
just walk?
Yep.
Yeah.
No, it's a code for the first door and a code for the second.
Okay.
And then they have a doorbell for people that don't know the code.
Right. Okay.
Wow.
So that part is good, that it's secure and no one off the street can just walk in, which it shouldn't be. So
No, they'll
that
have
is the one thing they're doing.
have a doorbell, so if they don't recognize it, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, it's just sad that they have them protected from people coming in there, but they're not in harm's way from people coming in there. They're in harm's way from the people that are in there.
That's right.
Right.
Well, I'm so sorry you're going through this.
Yeah.
When is the court date?
She don't have one.
She don't have one.
I
Oh,
don't
that's
have
right.
one. I wish I did, but like I said, it's still in the works. So hopefully we can get at least a court date soon. But it's like you
Well,
say, almost June. So
yeah, right, right. Well, we do plan to, we definitely hope that this airing and making more people aware will
yes.
put some pressure. And then we do have plans to try to get some meetings with some of the officers at APD
Okay.
because it's unacceptable and it needs to move along. It needs to move along.
Yeah, it does.
So,
And it's just crazy to hear that she's out and about, even though there's video footage, evidence,
right. Evidence.
you know, showing otherwise that she should be arrested.
Right.
Right.
And how
'Cause-
nonchalant the officer's acting. Like, well,
Right.
we're calling her like they're going to answer, you know, an unknown phone call. Now they know that the police are calling.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Right. Because like I'm people get arrested all the time and there's
Yeah.
no evidence and there's innocent people in jail right now, but yet when people
Yeah.
are clearly guilty, they get to just walk around and be free. And it's crazy to me that like you said, what's it gonna take?
Yeah.
She gotta walk up to some kid on the street and hurt that baby?
I don't. That's why I'm like, I don't know.
Right. You're giving her the opportunity to harm more children. Because if she's harmed one infant and thought it was okay to record it, that means that's obviously something that she does. Because who does that?
Yeah.
this is crazy. Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
I can't even fathom what you're going through. My daughter don't even leave her kids in daycare. So it's like they have family members that watch them.
Yeah.
Because of this, and then now it's happening, and now it's like my daughter's like, "See, told you."
Mhm.
Yeah.
So or they're actually older, so they don't even go to regular school. They're homeschooled.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, again, I'm so sorry this happened, and man, I mean, I wouldn't even know what to say to other people. I mean, that go to the same daycare. Maybe just listen to your kid, right? I mean, if they
Right.
say
Right.
something,
Absolutely.
don't try to say no, you're tripping. I mean,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah. Talk to the babies that can talk for sure. Unfortunately, ones that can't talk, they can't tell you, but their behaviors are going to change because things have
Right.
happened to them. You pay attention to your baby, like you pay attention to your baby, and you know that there's behaviors that have changed, and it's
right,
because things have happened. So they're going to display something, whether they can express it or not. And it's just, yeah, we want the parents out there to make sure you're talking to your children, make sure you're checking your children, check them over so
Yes.
you know how they look and everything
marks,
before you drop them off.
bruises,
And then yes, when you pick them up, examine them again and make sure they look the same as they did when you dropped them off. Because if not,
Yeah.
then you know something happened.
Mm-hmm.
that's right. Look for warning signs.
Mm-hmm.
If they're unusually quiet and your kid
Mm-hmm.
ain't quiet,
Mm-hmm. If they're clingy all of a sudden, if they can't sleep all of a sudden, if all they want to do is sleep all of a sudden, if they are usually Tammy talks a lot and now they're, never
right,
saying two words, if they're mopey or distant
angry,
or just, yeah, angry or
all
all
of
of
a
a sudden
sudden.
they want to sleep with you and they didn't want to sleep with you before. Like there's a lot of, signs that children display. All of a sudden they get anxious or crying or whatever when you take them. They don't want to go there. You know, um, it just
Yeah.
it's really hurtful. It's really hurtful, especially when the baby can't talk because they feel like they can do things to the babies because there's no way they can express themselves to let anyone know what's happening. And that is just a level of evil
Right.
that I don't understand. Again, for you, Nala, to record yourself hurting this baby and think that it's okay is crazy. So, yes, she absolutely needs to be locked up. She should have been arrested and she should be in jail. She should be sitting in jail waiting for whatever it is to happen, not walking around free waiting for everything to wrap up. You shouldn't be the one in stitches. She should be in stitches. So we're going to try to get that to move along because it's unacceptable and we don't accept it.
Right. And any updates you have, please let us know.
Mm-hmm.
Get you back on the show and
Oh, I will.
let us know what's going
Yes.
on. Because
Yeah. And we're going to connect you with the NAACP and they're going to fight for you also. And I think I'm going to also, well, I already know that Sevgi and her organization, they're already working on letters on behalf of you moms to KinderCare. So we already have organizations that are working on your behalf in the background. So,
Okay.
just know that you are not alone. Not only do you have all of us at East County Voices, our entire team, but there's a ton of us out there that's standing with you too. And believe me, we'll be fighting the whole time with you.
and Brianna, you
Thank
got
you.
Nicole's number?
Mm-hmm.
You guys got okay, so
Yes, I
right
do.
there. You ever need to talk to, she's great to talk to.
Thanks.
So yeah, she's helped me out quite a few times. So anyway, we have any updates or anything? Anything going on this weekend? Before we
We actually do. Thank you for reminding me. On the 22nd, and this is a good thing for you to hear about too, Brianna. On the
Mm-hmm.
22nd, we have in Antioch at 3650 Lone Tree. There is going to be a victim access to victim compensation
That's right.
rights, realities, and reform. So that's on May 22nd from 6 a.m. I'm so sorry, 6 p.m. to
6 p.m.
p.m. And it's put on by Prison from the Inside Out. Did I send you that flyer, Carlos?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I think I got it. I got it one way or another, either from you or I don't. Yeah.
Because I thought I sent it to you, but I know it's posted on my page and I could send it to you and then maybe you could put it up so that
Yeah,
people
for sure.
know. And then the other thing that I forgot to mention on our last podcast that's really important for everybody to be aware of is happening in Pinole. So apparently there was a baseball game between Pinole Valley High and Albany High. And people in the stands actually, I guess, said some things they shouldn't have said, some racial slurs directed towards the Asian players on the Albany team, which, mind you, there's Asian players on both teams. It was not the players.
Wow.
The coach and the players were not aware, but yet Coach Twan Blake, they basically railroaded him, scapegoated him, made him out to be the problem, tried to say it was his team that was doing it, but it wasn't. And I've seen heard the audio and seen the video of it. It wasn't them. They didn't even know anything about it. And they basically made it out to be him. He got suspended and he shouldn't have been suspended. He's been getting death threats because I don't know, again, even if it was the players, why are you giving death threats to the coach? Completely unacceptable. No one should get any death threats. Even these people that are harming the babies and all these horrid people, it's not our place to be death threatening anyone. No one should do that. Let due justice do what it does. Let's go
Right.
through the process. Let's do things properly. Let the system take care of them. You don't need to be sending death threats to anyone because that'll get the police at your front door. So cut it out.
Yeah.
So it really sucks that this man is going through this. It's the school board who just did him completely wrong. They have reinstated him, but with that reinstatement, they basically were like, oh, you have to take down your Facebook post and you can't talk to any more press. No, you don't get to silence me. You don't get to tell me what I post on my page. You guys did me wrong. I didn't do anything. My players didn't even do it. And I can't control what people in the stands are doing. I'm not policing the stands. And that's not my responsibility. I didn't know anything about it.
Right.
So, yeah. So we just need to stay on top of that too and be aware of what's going on in Pinole. I have definitely sent this information to the mayor of Pinole, Cameron. So I say he's awesome and amazing. He's looking into it, and I know he's not going to let it slide, just like he didn't let that lady who was attacking the black lady, he didn't let that slide either. He doesn't go for that in his city. He's very proud of. So he will, I'm sure he'll make sure that everything is rectified. But we just want to let Coach Twan Blake know that we stand with him. We'll be fighting with him. We do not accept any of this nonsense. The school board needs to be held responsible. He needs to be apologized to publicly, just like they humiliated him publicly. They need to compensate him. He will be suing, which I say absolutely. He has a civil rights attorney. So yes, his civil rights were violated and they need to take care of things properly. So
Right.
I think that's all we have. Our
Yeah.
From the Inside Out event on the 22nd, standing up for Twan, standing up for all these babies, because we're going to keep on fighting for that for sure. Hold these centers responsible and accountable, hold these officers accountable because they need to do their job.
That's right. And anybody watching out there, if you have a similar incident in this area or anywhere, let us know. Leave it in the comments. And Brianna, when this show ends right now, we don't want to say that we're not. It doesn't end with us.
Right.
We're always here for you. Okay. You got Nicole's number. Stay
Thank you.
close. Anything you need to talk to her, anything. I mean, you're not alone. You understand?
Hmm.
Yeah,
I
a lot of
appreciate
times.
that. Thank you.
And what Carlos is not telling you is one of his daughter's names is Brianna also. So
Yeah,
it's really hitting home for him
it
because one of
is.
his babies has
Oh,
the same name. So she's a beautiful woman too.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah. So
yeah.
he's literally feeling like he's talking to his daughter right now.
I am. And as a parent, I have 3 daughters. So
Mm,
as a parent,
um,
man, I feel you. I feel,
yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah.
Just know that, okay? You're not alone. You got
thank
us.
you.
Hmm.
Keep us posted, and
I
we'll
will.
we'll, we'll get you back on the show, and you can tell us the good news, and you
Yes.
know it's gonna
Hopefully
be all right.
soon. I'm like,
It's
gosh, I'm praying.
gonna
Yes,
be good.
absolutely. We're all praying for everybody because yeah, it's a lot of not okay things going on. So
Yeah.
definitely need the Lord to step in because he needs to take care of all this evil happening
Hmm.
because
Sure does.
it's yeah, you
Sure
know,
does.
he can combat it better than we can for sure. So that's what we're asking for.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I should have said too. Pray,
All right, I got you.
Hmm.
pray
That's why
first, and
we're
then
a
call
team.
Nicole. So anyway, you want to wrap us up, Nicole?
um
Wrap wrap it
Do
up.
you want to say any last things before you go, Brianna?
No, that's it.
Okay.
I feel like I covered it.
You did. You did. And we're very proud of you for standing up.
Thank you.
Um, we're proud of you for being strong enough to continue going to work, even though I know it's hard. Hopefully, you can find something better
Yes.
soon. We'll be praying for that too.
Yes.
Man, yeah,
We thank you for coming on the show and sharing your story. And yeah, just keep, you know what? Hey, keep praying, keep being strong in your stance, and don't give up ever. Don't ever stop fighting. As long
I
as you
will.
want to keep fighting, it'll help you keep going. No matter how hard it gets, you know you have something to fight for. It's gonna push you to keep.
Yes.
Yeah.
right. All right.
All right, Los, take
We're
us
gonna
out.
wrap it up, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in again out there. This is live. Well, this is pre-recorded when you watch it, but please subscribe, like the video, share it. We need your help and support by doing that. We're not asking for no money. We just like and subscribe and just share the video with your friends and
Mm-hmm.
get the word out there. That's all.
Yeah, so we can
So
keep the platform going so people can tell their stories.
that's right. That's right. This is East County Voices. You guys are the voice. There's many.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully we'll get one of you guys on the show
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
out there in YouTube land. But anyway, thank you all for tuning in. And with that, we'll see you next time. Peace and love.
Good night.